Welcome everybody. I figured with all the craziness of the last 12, 16 hours, I figured a good, nice, wholesome gardening video would be a good one to put out. And I wanted to showcase something that everybody actually can do. It is the middle of summer, so it's not typically the best, the time that people mostly plant and create gardens. But I want to show you what you can do in your own yard to actually become more sustainable. You can grow your own food, and we can do it the permaculture or the sustainable way, whatever title you want to use for it. But let me show you what we have here in a small single lot. It's a food forest strip, and it produces so much food and so much flowers. There's so much life out here, and I wanted to show you exactly how I did it in a quick little video, how to prepare the soil and get all the plants growing. And what we did to create it is we simply went to like Dollar General and other recycling places, and we got the largest bits of cardboard we could, took off all the tape from them, made sure that they were ink free, and then we started laying it out, and we created kind of a negative space here. So there's actually a mowed pathway here. There's gardens over there, and then there's gardens over here that kind of swoop around, and you can shape it however you like to. You can see from this blank space here where we need to actually add a couple of hazelnuts, I think. So what we did is we put down wood chips, and we used a company called Chip Drop. We also have a company called Green Cycle that takes in, old branches and trees that people have trimmed down or cut down because of storms, and they chop it all up. We put a nice thick layer of wood chips down. We gave it 2 weeks, and then we started planting. Now the greatest part about this whole method is it's actually very simple. If you can kind of scrape wood chips from the back of your truck, put it in a wheelbarrow and dump a wheelbarrow, you can basically do this. Because other than that, it's just laying down the cardboard and then giving it time itself to start to break down, kill the grasses underneath, which feeds the soil, which is one of the big things that we're trying to do. That's why everything is so crazy large after 2 years, because we've focused on building the soil and not the plants. Then basically all you need to do is you go to your local soil and water conservation district. You start buying their plants for $3 a piece, and you too can have all sorts of different purple coneflower. You can have serviceberry trees growing up. You can have currants just like this. You can also get comfrey root cuttings. You can get little roots, just kind of stick it under the wood chips, and it'll grow into quite a large plant that provides a nectar source for bees. The most difficult part of this whole thing is actually recording it. So the gardening is great, but trying to focus on elderberries and also not get the address of my neighbor's house is very difficult. But what we can do is we can kind of sidestep and try to get good video footage of things like this asparagus patch that we have that is actually putting on seeds so that it can keep reproducing. Because plants like this actually will spread from the crown. The crown itself will multiply, and then it creates seeds. You can actually spread these around and create more asparagus patches, along with plants like elderberry, which you can't get it to grow. And then you can multiply that by taking cuttings in the spring, and then just like me, you can start planting it all throughout here and get a whole wall of elderberry, and then create a little sitting area in the middle. Now this is just what I've done. This is my approach, and this is kind of my design. You can see some of the stuff right in the back. We are letting a lot of the wild lettuces grow wild, and a lot of other plants, because we're trying to get as much green manure, green mass, what have you, to grow on the property to build the soil. So a lot of that stuff gets chopped down, it gets composted. We leave it on top of the soil for things to nest over winter. And truly, after we've planted all the plants, basically it's just walking around and smelling the flowers and watching the bees and eating currants and watching your pears actually ripen and planning to eat those here in the next couple of weeks. So if you do have a hankering to do any gardening, if you need a little break from the craziness of the world around us, I would say start getting some cardboard, look at some sustainable places to get wood chips, and start growing pears. Because I cut this thing all the way down to here this spring, and it's grown like 12 feet. So that might be an exaggeration, but we had cut this thing down so far down we thought we actually killed it, and it's done nothing but grow. So we'll trim it again, and then next year we'll have peaches. And when I say peaches, I mean pears. That's one of the things I keep mislabeling all my trees and my bushes, because there's so many things that we have growing. And of course, it wouldn't be a video about this property if I didn't mislabel the pear trees. They're actually pear trees. I have a couple of Asian pears and a couple of American pears. But I just wanted to leave you with this, that if you have any favorite plants, any favorite fruits, any favorite berries, if you like blueberries, haskellats, if there's currants that you really like, strawberries, any of those things, you can have all that here. And it really does make it accessible by sheet mulching. So you can reuse basically waste streams and put them on your property and create a nice little space. The circumference around a tree is all you really need to do. So some of the things that we do is we'll take one tree and we'll do it 5 feet on either side, and we'll sheet mulch that, and then we'll just start adding bushes and flowers and all that stuff. So you can get yourself a little oasis in your backyard, in your side yard, in your front yard. You can keep it clean and tidy. My area is not exactly clean and tidy, but it is still only in its second year, so a lot of this stuff we're trying, the ground and the land is basically trying to figure itself out. Which plants are going to succeed and all that stuff. It's kind of like a restabilization is how I kind of think of it. So, but we've been eating currants and strawberries and elderberries for the past year and a half. So, I mean, it's already producing, and we really didn't spend that much time on it. I have a couple videos, you can go back and see those, but I think to install all of this by myself and a friend, it took us 8 hours, and everything else, like the wood chips, were delivered by chip drop. So we just had to basically just use a rake and put them where we wanted them. So it was actually very cool. So I hope everybody is enjoying their summer, and I hope this kind of pushes you to think about maybe planting some of your own food. You can still do tomatoes here as well, but these plants that I've planted come back every year. I don't have to replant them. I don't have to get little baby plants, and I don't have to protect them from rabbits. So thank you very much for watching. All right, bye-bye.